I want you to imagine 4 different types of scenarios. These are 4 different types of men, and I want you to determine which one of these you are and whether you're different men in different scenarios in your life. So let's start with the first person. He is very high status, but in a very stable environment. Think of someone like a king in a monarchy, some government official who's very high rank, like a senator, or someone in the House of Representatives in the US, or someone in the parliament. It's very stable, but you're very highly ranked. So no one's gonna shake your position. Now the second person I want you to imagine is high status, but in a very unpredictable environment. Think of someone like a drug gang, right? A gang that is very unstable because the leader can die at any time. You could be very high status, but in a very uncertain environment. The third person I want you to imagine is someone who is low status in a very stable environment. Imagine you're at a school and you're a teacher. You're kind of low status and it's a stable environment. You're not going to become the principal. There's only one principal. You're not going to become someone in the staff or some director. You're going to stay a teacher. So that's a very stable, low status environment. And then the final one, which is this, the tech entrepreneur billionaire, or the medical entrepreneur billionaire. You're in an uncertain, unstable environment as an entrepreneur, as a startup person, and you're low status because you haven't made it yet. You're still grinding. You're down there. That fourth person that I just talked about, someone who's low status and in a very unstable environment, that's what this paper is about, that I'm going to describe to you. It was just published last month. So 2019, December it was published, and it just came out this month in the Journal of Neuroendocrinology, 2020. Really, really good paper. It talks about testosterone. It talks about these 4 different types of men. So I'm going to describe this paper, and at the end, we will conclude whether testosterone affects the status-seeking behavior of these 4 different individuals in these different groups and societies. Because we know for a long time that testosterone is the hormone of competitiveness, of seeking status, of growing higher and higher in status. So if you're a person who considers yourself low in status and you want to climb that ladder to reach higher status, whatever that higher status is for you, it could be money, it could be being with beautiful women, it could be spirituality, it could be eating organic food, whatever it is for you, that's higher status. So that's what this paper is going to be about. And it's quite interesting results at the very end. If you really want to become that billionaire in an environment of uncertainty, which today's world is, then this paper will help you, okay? So let's get started. The first thing I want to tell you is reaction time. What is reaction time? This is very, very important. So what they did, okay, so what did they do in the paper, okay? They basically took 173 men, and there were 2 groups. They were split into 2 groups, right? It's a placebo-controlled study. What does that mean? There's 2 groups. Half of the men, out of the 173 men, there's 80 something in one group, 80 something in another group. So half the group gets placebo. This is a gel, which is not a testosterone gel. It's just it's a control, right? So it doesn't do anything to you, but it feels the same. And the other gel is a testosterone gel, which is exogenous testosterone that's applied to the body. And this applies to us even though we boost our testosterone naturally 100%. This still applies to us. Why? Because if there is a significant effect from testosterone, then we can boost testosterone naturally, double our testosterone naturally, and still get this benefit that this paper is describing. okay? So this study is a placebo-controlled study, okay? And it is a double-blind, and it is, here, let me show you. It's double-blind, and it establishes causality. What does that mean? A double-blind experiment is when the scientist doesn't know who was controlled by placebo and who actually got the testosterone. So it doesn't bias the scientist. Super, super important. When you read papers, make sure they are placebo-controlled and double-blind, or don't even pay attention to them. The other thing is it is causal, right? Establishes causality. A lot of the papers that you're gonna read are merely correlational. It's like, this thing goes up, this thing goes up. But you don't know if this actually caused this. It's not a causal experiment. So don't really count those as real studies. Like, I really don't. This study is causal because you are actually applying testosterone to these men, okay? So what is reaction time? So this study, basically what they did was they would show you a screen and they would show you objects on that screen. And the job of these men was to click or press a button whenever they see the object. So the goal was to see how fast can you detect this object on the screen. That is reaction time. So the lower the reaction time, the better. That means you're fast, okay? So that's what reaction time is. And I'm gonna get into a lot of this here, so you're gonna understand what reaction time is a little bit better as we move forward. So if you don't understand everything right now, you will understand it as I describe this paper in the video. What do these stars mean? So these stars are basically what is known as statistical difference. In experiments, as scientists, what we do is we have to establish some kind of statistical significance. So let's say there's two groups and there's a difference between them two. Well, is it statistically significant, right? This could be 5 and this could be 10, but what about the error between these two? What about the error in the measurement, the error in the measurement? If you count the errors, the 5 and 10 may not be significantly different. So whenever you see 1 star in this paper, that means it is a significant difference. We have to pay attention to it. When you see 2 stars, it's really significant. It's a higher level of significance. So then you have to pay even extra attention, okay? And so basically, what's gonna happen in these experiments is you see a screen, they show you an object, and you just have to click or press a button. Another object, you have to press a button. And what they did was, they would penalize you if you press the button without any object there, because a smart person would be like, keep pressing. So they penalized you. So they were really, really smart in how they did these studies. Okay, now let's see what they found. There were 4 different types of analyses done, okay? Because there have been studies that have shown that if an increase in testosterone happens in a man, then you will seek higher status, right? If you're a low status entrepreneur, you're gonna seek higher status. You're a low status person in a gang or in your family or in the income ladder, you're gonna seek higher status. You're driving a Toyota Camry, Toyota Corolla, you're gonna try to get that Lamborghini. This has already been shown. But what was not shown is what happens when the environments are stable versus unstable. So that's what this paper shows. So there's 4 different groups of people and 4 different experiments here, and I'm going to show you why this matters so much to you. Why you need to boost your testosterone naturally to gain higher status and get up that ladder of what Jordan Peterson calls the male dominance hierarchy. Okay, let's start with low status and stable environment. What does that mean? Very stable environment, like a school, like the government, like politics, things that don't really change. A bank, right? You're like a fucking teller at the bank, sitting there all day counting people's money and doing nothing. It's very hard for you to climb that ladder. You're stable, but you're low status. What happens to you? The red is placebo and the green is testosterone, right? As you see here. Okay, always look. Red placebo, green testosterone. Okay? So here, in a stable environment like a bank with low status, think of like a clerk. When you get placebo, what happens? Your reaction time, RT reaction time, decreases. That's normal, right? Remember, this is as the experiment moves forward. This is the x-axis. The experiment is moving forward, and your reaction time is decreasing. That's the red. Well, obviously, as you get more experience in pressing these buttons, your reaction time will decrease. It makes sense. But look at this. If you give testosterone and you increase testosterone in this person, their reaction time increases. They get worse as the experiment goes forward. These people have realized with higher testosterone that they're not going to move up the hierarchy. They're not delirious. So if you're a bank clerk and you increase your testosterone, you will realize, and this is just an example, you could be a teacher, you could be in any stable environment where you're never going to climb up. And this happens a lot. Imagine the caste system in Hinduism, in India, the caste system. If you're down there, the achut, the untouchables, you're never going to climb. And if that achut, that untouchables, or like in Nazi Germany, the Jews, for example, if a Jewish person in Nazi Germany or an untouchable, an achut in India, if they increase their testosterone, they would realize that, I can't really climb the ladder. Like, I'm stuck. This is a stable environment. What's going to happen? They're not going to try. They're actually going to get worse and worse and worse as time goes on. And they're probably going to spend time on other hierarchies that are unstable so they can actually move up. If you imagine in India, an untouchable, imagine he got a chance to move out of India somehow and go to America. I remember my friend Mustafa, he wasn't an untouchable, he was in a higher caste system. But he told me that he had to be number one in his school to get accepted to any United States university. And now he's a professor at Rice University. He went to MIT and he went to Stanford for PhD. So, Mustafa realized that and he did it, right? So that's something really, really interesting to remember. So that's an advantage of boosting testosterone. Now let's look at this, okay? Unstable environment, low status. Imagine you're in a gang. You're like the lowest of the low in a gang, and it's very unstable because anything can happen. The leader can die, but you have low status. What happens then? With the red, which is placebo, no testosterone, nothing's going to happen. Nothing. Because you're low status and it's unstable. So why do anything? I don't have to do shit. But if you're given testosterone, you really get better at reaction time. Your reaction time decreases, which means you're getting faster and faster and faster. This is the billionaire entrepreneur right here. This right here is the billionaire entrepreneur. Why? Because you're in an unstable environment, a startup, and you're low status. If you increase your testosterone somehow, then you will start giving a shit about gaining higher status, about being more competitive, being more aggressive. This is a fantastic finding. And look, there's a star. That means it's significantly different. Okay, now let's move to this. Your high status, stable environment. Think of someone like a king, someone like in the Senate, someone like in the parliament, okay? Or a Brahmin in the caste system, or one of the Nazi soldiers in Nazi Germany, right? High status, very stable for him, okay? If you're placebo, nothing's gonna happen. You don't give a fuck. Doesn't matter. You given testosterone, nothing's gonna happen. You don't give a fuck. It's just stable right across, okay? This one. Reaction time, experiment, high status, unstable. Again, imagine unstable gang, but you're the leader of the gang. So it's unstable, anything can happen, okay? Placebo, red, you're increasing your reaction time as time goes on. decreasing your reaction time, you're increasing your speed. And same thing with testosterone. But there's no significant difference, so we don't give a fuck about this. Now let's move on to this really interesting one, okay? Choice to compete. Okay, then what happened is they were told at the very end, this is the result, here are your rankings. You now have the choice if you want to compete one last time to get higher status. Do you say yes or no? And what happened? High rank, stable. Okay? So this is like a king. High rank and stable. No difference. Unstable, high rank, no difference. Then it becomes interesting here. Stable, low rank. So imagine something like parliament, a school, a bank, but you're very low rank. No difference. But at the very last one, unstable, low rank. This is the startup. This is the entrepreneur who's trying to make it, right? This is the guy who's like very low status in a gang, right? A very unstable environment. For him, there's a huge difference in choice to compete. He wants to compete and establish himself and do something with his life. If that's you, then increase your testosterone right now. And the other difference is stable, low rank, and unstable. So look at this one. This right here, stable, low rank, and unstable, low rank is also a significant difference. So someone who is very stable and low ranked, he knows he's not gonna do anything because it's a stable hierarchy. So his choice to compete is very low. But this right here is what we have to look at, guys. Right here. Unstable environment, and if you're low ranked, then increase your testosterone because you will have a higher choice to compete. Because, dude, it is your choice. So what does this paper show us? Okay, this is the whole paper. What does this paper show us? We live in a very, very uncertain environment. Okay, we live in a very unpredictable environment in the world. Okay, I did stable, unstable because I want to list examples which I gave you in this whole video. So look around you if you are in an unstable environment and you're low ranked. Start increasing your testosterone today. Really, really pay attention to your health, to your stress levels, to what you eat, your exercise, your supplementation. Really, really learn about your life and what you're doing because you may not even be aware of your status in life. Once you become aware of your status, then you can start increasing your status. And if you're in a stable environment and you have low status, then you have to understand that you're never going to increase your status. So move on to a hierarchy, to some kind of ladder where you can actually increase your status and don't waste your time your entire life. Look, man, when I was in New York, I saw people having 2 jobs, 3 jobs. They were working their ass off. They were in an environment. For them, it might seem unstable, but if they're gonna go their entire life for 40 years, 50 years, 60 years, 70 years, having these 2 jobs, barely paying rent, because their parents did the same thing, their grandparents did the same thing, imagine if that person boosted testosterone, he would realize that he needs to give up and move on to an environment where he can compete and outsmart people and outrank people. All right, man, so don't waste time, okay? If you are a billionaire entrepreneur in the making, start increasing your testosterone naturally today, and that is how you will get that system, that energy, that power in your body to climb that status and do whatever it takes to become king. All right, man? This is Doc Farhan. I'll see you next time.